Hey friends, it's Kaylin and this is Full Purpose and Heart. We are here to give you guys another update of our homeschooling journey here at our side of the mountain. We've just finished 5 weeks of school. Okay, things are really jumbled over here, so let's talk about it. Okay, so number one, I don't think I even really know which week of school we're in because we had so many weeks that were like off. If you watched the last video before this one, in my homeschool life journey, anyway, what I was talking about was how we had 3 weeks of like unschooling and they were really great. But now that we're like back into the swing of things, I have my full like master calendar and like everything is all confusing and off and the lesson numbers are off and it's just making this organized mama feel like a hot mess. So something that needs to happen in the next couple of days is that I'm gonna need to go through, get back onto the computer, onto like my big overall chart of our full school year and just reassign most of those numbers so that the lesson numbers correlate with the weeks that we're gonna be doing them. Because the one that I had printed off at the beginning of our school year is now pretty topsy-turvy. So I'm not mad about it. And I know that some of you may be thinking like, well, maybe you shouldn't plan as much out as you have. And that's not how I feel at all. I just, like some of our units were like further ahead and others of them were further behind. So I just need to like iron out the creases and reorganize where we need to be headed so that as we come closer to December and our semester break, I want to make sure that we finish where I want to finish for that. So all of that being said, in the few weeks that we've been in school, so much has changed. And this is something that if you're new to homeschooling, I want to verbalize to you is that you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you have to just dive in, try something, whether it's a routine or a schedule or a curriculum or a book or a pattern or whatever it is, and just try it and see what sticks, And we're kind of at a rhythm of our school weeks now that a lot of what I had envisioned happening hasn't totally stuck the way that I thought it would. Other things are moving great, so I just kind of added to it. So anyway, it's kind of a long-winded introduction, but I wanted to share that with you because all of the rest of this video is going to be kind of expounding on how much of our school life has changed now that we're kind of trying to get more into the swing of things. In fact, our public schools in our area have just recently started going back to school. So that's been helping because I feel like everyone's in school and the weather's going to start changing here soon, hopefully. I don't know, the weather is hard to choose these days because everything is so crazy. But anyway, all right, let's start with this. So last year I made this checklist. I got it from Megan Phillips, I think her name is. I'll put her link before to make sure she gets credit. Run over and give her some love if you want something similar to this. Now, I did modify it, so if you're looking for something exactly like this, then you might need to hit me up and we'll see what we can work out. But I used to be making these for my son. He wasn't loving it, so then I decided to just dump it and I wasn't going to use it anymore. Well, over the last 2 weeks, I have learned I need this checklist for my organization. And it's really been awesome for me. And I wish that it was like a wonderful resource for my kiddo and that he loved checking the boxes off, but he doesn't. It's good for me because at the end of the week, I can now go through and see exactly what lessons we completed each day. So when we finish our school day on Monday, I check all the boxes that my son was supposed to finish, and then I do it again on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that on Friday, I can easily see at the glance of one sheet of paper, okay, these are the lessons we're behind on. These are the lessons that we finished. Here's what he finished quickly, slowly, all that kind of good stuff. So it's a really great one-page resource that I've begun using simply for myself. And it's colorful and pretty, which if you're new to my channel, then you must know I love colorful, pretty things. If it's not colorful or pretty, I probably won't write on it for very long. So that's been a really good resource for me. As we go through and I talk about each of the things that we're doing in our classroom, I'm going to refer to this just to make sure that I talk about the subjects that I want to mention to you. Okay, so first and foremost, we've kind of realigned our school day a little bit from what I posted when I was explaining our school day. I've now switched up a few things so that my daughter has some time on the computer where she does just some alphabet work and some letter work on a program. It's a free program that I just found on the internet. It's called ABC. Yeah, abcya.com. And so I set her up on there and she will do some like letter matching or number matching and have her own personal computer time while I take time with my son to do kind of 2 subject reviews, which means I grabbed another resource. Okay, so this is the Evan Moore Skills Sharpeners. Please, if you don't know anything about me yet, if you haven't been watching my videos, I'm really loving the Skill Sharpeners family that Evan Moore is putting out these days. So this is no different. So I've grabbed this resource for my kiddo and I will sit with him every day and we will read the story and do one of the activity pages. There are 15 stories that have about 6 activities that correlate with each of them. So I'm hoping that this is probably going to last us up until the end of our semester, so through December. And it's a really good time for us to practice some reading. I am loving the English resource that I've purchased for my kiddo this year. He loves it. I love it. Right now, he just started his poetry, learning about how to write poems and that sort of thing. So it's been a fantastic resource, but there's not a whole lot of like reading comprehension, that sort of thing included. So I threw this in as a one-on-one time with him. He is my first student, my first child, so he's used to having one-on-one teaching time. And so I've enjoyed kind of carrying that over into his 2nd grade year. So we do this. And then I've also begun doing the math fundamentals with him. We usually do like 1 page of this depending on whatever concept that I want to review with him. He's really, not that he struggles with how to add or subtract, but he's not excited about doing it, and it takes him a very long time to do his math problems. So we're trying to, because the Math Fundamentals book, this is another Evan Moore product, it kind of approaches the problem in a different way so that you can solve it using, different pathways, I guess you could say. Because I've been adding for a long time, I only know how to add just like counting forward, right? Or I have a lot of math problems memorized in my head. So this has been a really helpful resource because it's kind of helped us to see like go to 10 and then add the difference. And anyway, it's just been a different approach to learning the problems, which hopefully will kind of stick and help those addition and subtraction problems kind of land a little bit easier for my kiddo. So that's been new and really good. And we usually do that for about 20 minutes more or less. So it's just kind of a quick one-on-one time with him for those 2 subjects while my daughter does some time on the computer. And she loves it and he enjoys it, so that's been a really good win. I mentioned about English. It's going fantastic. We're using BJU Press. If you're new and you don't know, can I refer you to my curriculum video so that I don't have to spend too much time kind of referring back and forth about what we've picked. Spelling. Oh man, guys. I don't like spelling time. So the curriculum that I picked for Spelling Spectrum is fine, but this is what I've learned about spelling. I've been in this homeschooling world for a hot minute, and in my opinion, which is minimal, I don't think it really matters what spelling curriculum you choose because they're all going to be pretty much the same. The spelling lists are different, but the approach is pretty much the same. You have your spelling list, write them a couple of times. Here's a few activities, give a spelling test at the end. And I guess I've been like waiting for some kind of like magnificent light to shine down and make spelling fun, but it's not. I did go to a spelling workshop at the conference that I was at back in June, I guess it was. And so she gave some really fantastic tips on how to do some spelling activities with your kiddo, regardless of whatever program it was that you've selected. So I have been trying to integrate some of those. We have a spelling menu that we do twice a week where my kiddo just gets to pick one of the activities and kind of practice his words that way. I've debated about breaking out this one. I just got this. This is another Evan Moore spelling, and it's not colorful or anything like that, but I'm going to do a quick look in the book for this here in the next couple of days, and I'll let you guys kind of get a better insight as to why I think I might switch over to this. But anyway, spelling's been a struggle, and we'll see how that develops. In the next little while. Spanish is the next subject I want to cover. It has been really fun, super laid back. We're not like diving into learning Spanish per se, but we're studying the numbers, and my little 3-year-old right now, she'll be 4 soon. She's got numbers 1 through 10 memorized. So that it feels so good when you impart a bit of knowledge into your kiddos. So that's been fun. But I think like in the next couple of days, we're starting colors. I think maybe next week we start learning colors. So anyway, it's a super duper basic introduction to Spanish, but it's been fun to kind of open their world a little bit to learn these new words. So that's been fun. Math, I don't really have anything to say about it. We're just kind of trudging through. I have noticed that a lot of times the assignment will have huge numbers of problems that my kiddo needs to finish. Maybe maybe huge is a bit of an exaggeration, but we'll have maybe 20 addition, long addition, carryover addition, subtraction, and then long subtraction. And when I say long subtraction, I mean like to the thousands place value. Anyway, that he needs to do. So what I've kind of been doing is just saying, okay, do 5 of these rows and just do the top row of this section and do only the blue ones of those. So I feel like a real legit math teacher, because it's like, I just remember in math class where it's like, do all the evens or all the odds or whatever it is. So I have noticed that they're really trying to get you to practice a lot. So that's been good, I guess, because he's a very hesitant mathematician. But I will say one other kind of observation about the curriculum is that, so it's someday I'm going to memorize what that word is. So every time I say it, I don't have to be like, but what is it? Anyway, it's the cyclical, rotational, circle curriculum. You know what I'm talking about, right? Whatever that name is, say it for me. Anyway, I've loved it. I don't have anything against it, but I have noticed when we are trying to learn skip counting, recently, like in our curriculum, it's been skip counting 3, 6, and 9s. They don't spend a lot of time on it, so I don't feel like I can do it with my kiddo. So like up in our circle time, I have right now counting by 9s up on our board. We did the 3s for the first couple of weeks, and then while we were still memorizing the 3s, our curriculum was moving into the 6s, and then it jumped to the 9s. And so as a family, we never did the 6s during our circle time. We just jumped to the 9s, but now they're back to the 6s, and then they're doing the 4s. Anyway, so it's beneficial because you get introduced to the topic and then they kind of let it go for a minute and then it comes back. But when I'm trying to teach my kiddo skip counting and trying to memorize those number families, it's been a little bit tricky. So if that made sense to you, hopefully it did. It can just kind of be like a warning to you, but if it didn't make sense, I don't know how else to word it to try to make it make sense to you. But anyway, that's just been an observation that I have about our math curriculum. Again, I'm still loving it. I don't have anything against it. I don't think we're going to be doing Horizons next year. So I am kind of starting to field out what my other options are. Mostly because I think that we need a little bit more lesson, like a structured lesson time. And I'm not providing that with the curriculum because I I only know basic math. So the more kind of deep we get into it, then the more I'm going to want to have, maybe I'm going to hire a teacher somehow to do that, whether it's through a curriculum or a tutor, or I don't know how that's going to play out yet. But anyway, okay, let's move on. So history has been really fun. I've got my history manual and my little book that I made to go along with it. Let me show you just a second. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you. We're doing heritage studies. I just put this book together. This is like an activity manual, I guess you could say. And we did the continents, so we kind of colored the continents here. I'll just show you like what my pages are so that if you want to make some, then you can. We talked about things that were made by God and things that were made by man. And then we also are talking about the equator and the North Pole and the South Pole. So we did all of that, and then we went to make a globe using paper mache and a balloon. And I have not paper mache'd since 1992, so it was a little rough, and then after they dried they cracked, so we didn't ever get to the like painting part of our paper mache project, but we tried to notice the difference between globes and maps, and we used like a Disneyland map to talk about maps because we love Disney. So anyway, that's been really fun, and now we're moving into communities. I'm pulling out some old curriculum resources to teach the community section. I have some Evan Moore, what are they called, pocket books that we're doing for community, and then I also have my little thinkers that we did back in kindergarten that I'm pulling out. We're going to talk about those, so I'll give you a recap of that in the next video when we do that. Our science, we've been talking about matter, so here's our science book. This came with the curriculum. Well, the cover didn't, I made the cover, but the notebook came with the curriculum, so we identified different states of matter and talked about the definition of it. So I do social studies 2 days a week and science 2 days a week. So it's a very kind of slow and smooth course for that. We're reading Hardy Boys. That's been lots of fun. It's a good kind of like mystery book where you have to try and figure out who did it, who did the little crime, I guess you could say. So that's been fun. We're doing obedience, so we colored these. This comes with the curriculum for that character, focus on character, I think it's called. Oh, nope, it's not. It's called Character First Education. Just Google search Character First Education or check my description box. I'll try to remember to put the link there. So anyway, we're doing obedience. What else? Oh, so that's pretty much my second grader. And that's, yeah, the end. Okay, number 2, I want to, first of all, let me ask anybody who's still watching, are you still here? This is turning out to be long. When I do our homeschool life videos, if you would prefer that I have a separate video for my junior kindergartner and then a second grade video and make them separate, would you please put in the comment section below, make them separate, or me or something, I don't know. Just put like a quick comment below and let me know. And if there's a good number of you who would prefer to have 2 separate videos because you're more focused on the junior kindergartner, then let me know. So then I'll try to do that, okay? But she's gonna just be a really quick synopsis here. We talked about feelings this week. And then the week before we talked about colors. So we had a really fun like color wheel that we made. You can kind of see mine right here in the back. It's just a paper plate, and then we cut out a lot of different colors from a magazine, and then we put them in the color wheel. And we talked about warm colors and cool colors, and when you mix 2 colors, what do you get, and all that kind of good stuff. So that was a lot of fun. We also did sand art, so I had some extra colored sand from another project that we had done during summer camp. So we made fun little vials of sand, whatever those were. And then we were reciting the colors every day. So that was kind of a fun little unit. And then last week we talked about feelings. What are feelings? I got some library books. We talked about feelings, and then we just did like a piece of construction paper, and we made a face, and then we put like some Velcro on it so that they could move the eyes and the mouth. So like the eyebrows are up, eyebrows are down. And then I had like different mouths that kind of reflected some different emotions. So anyway, that was a fun little activity for her. We're still doing the personal like one-on-one time while my son does his computer work with English. I do a lot of letter of the week games. We feed Fred, which is an alphabet game that I talk about in one of my preschool videos. I think it's like preschool toolbox is what that video is called. Anyway, and then I also have some file folder games that I've been doing with her. We walk the room and do like an alphabet walk the room game. So anyway, that's been fun, but I have added 2 things to her curriculum. So I think that actually one of my subscribers might have commented ages ago and said like, I think that this curriculum is going to be too easy for your daughter. And I'm like, waving my hand like, you're right. Yep, that's exactly what it was. But kind of like I said at the beginning of my video, you don't know what you don't know. And so I didn't know that this was going to be so easy for her. So we did all of the Explode the Code A. I went ahead and purchased B and C, and I'm going to finish up that, and then we'll kind of regroup and decide where we're going to go from there. I also have this book for her. This is a read and write Smart Start from Evan Moore, and it's the kindergarten level. And this has been a really cool resource. It has a story. It's very similar actually to my second graders book, where it has a story and then it has like about 5 or 6 activities after the story. There is like a QR code in the front of the book here that you can have the story read to your student. We did that for the first story, but I felt like the reader was very quick in reading, and I kind of I like to read the story to my student because I can use a pencil or whatever and point to each word as I read it, because she really is beginning to pick up a lot of words and beginning reading skills. So I'm trying just to kind of point those out to her. We're also starting to really try and focus on some reading comprehension with her. She enjoys books and enjoys reading, but she has a hard time telling back the story. So I have from Teachers Pay Teachers resource just some straight reading comprehension pages that I've printed off, and it has like a short story and 3 questions, and we'll do like 2 or 3 of those each day as we begin to practice that skill of listening to a story and then regurgitating that information, those basic points. And so she's been getting a lot faster at it, and I'm hoping kind of as we continue to practice, it will be more second nature to her. And this has some of those skills along with writing. This is a lot of alphabet practice. In the beginning, like the first one is bear, is about a bear cub or a hike or whatever. Anyway, so you listen for the B sound at the beginning of the word and at the end of the word, as well as some basic reading skills. So this is a new resource that I've just thrown in. I just got to check, make sure that I'm not missing anything. I think that kind of at least covers it pretty good. So anyway, that's our homeschool update. Again, let me reiterate, if you've made it this far in the video, these full 20 minutes, then would you please put in the description box below if you would benefit from having a separate video for my preschooler or my junior kindergartner, whatever that age is, my 4-year-old, separate from my second grader. But if you like them all clumped together and it doesn't bother you one way or another, then don't worry about it, or maybe you can let me know that too, just to see kind of what the general consensus is. So anyway, hopefully you found something valuable in this video, whether it was encouraging or an idea or something like that, or maybe you were just entertained. That's always fun too. Give me a thumbs up, show me some love that you watched this video and you've come to this part of it. I enjoy having you subscribers around. I enjoy this YouTube community of homeschoolers, because on my side of the mountain, I don't really have anybody else that is homeschooling or that I can kind of camaraderate, not commiserate, but like have a camaraderie with. So that's what you guys are to me, and I appreciate that. So anyway, thanks so much for watching this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.